Our time is already fast spent, but permit me to share with you, as part of the message you've heard today, permit me to share with you how we attract spirits and overcome spirits. Yes, you need this to add to your understanding. Let me tell you this. Jesus on the other day was talking about spirits. He said something. Jesus said, if a spirit leaves a body, it goes out there to search for a host. Why must it go out to search for a host after leaving a body? The reason is that according to the law of territory, a spirit cannot live or function without having a host. That is according to the law of territory. So even when God himself wanted to descend onto this earth, he had to obey the law of territory. Jesus is coming as a spirit, although, but he had to obey the law of territory. He must come as a form of human. So Mary had to be pregnant with Jesus for 9 months to conceive him. Jesus had to go through the law of territory to ensure that Jesus is well accepted and qualified to function in the realm of the flesh. So if a spirit wants to function in the realm of the flesh, it needs a body. Being it the spirit of prayer, being it the spirit of intercession, being it the spirit of masturbation, being it the spirit of fornication, whatever spirit it is, even if it wants to operate or function in this realm of flesh, it needs a body, a fleshly body. So that is why spirits are all around this world looking for a body to host them. So how then do we attract these spirits upon ourselves? Follow me, I'm going somewhere. Tell your neighbor, follow him, he is going somewhere. God bless you. Now, let me tell you this. If somebody goes to steal for the first time, the person wasn't persuaded by a spirit. He stole willingly. Out of his own conscience, he made the decision to steal for one or two reasons. The second time this person goes to steal, I tell you again, he stole willingly. Out of a decision he made for one or two reasons, he decided to take something that does not belong to him. Then the spirit of theft and stealing is moving around. Then it sees somebody here who has stolen, and he says, this spirit, there is a body on earth which is attracting what I possess. Somebody goes to fornicate for the first time. Willingly, he made a decision to fornicate. The second time, continuously, he is fornicating, and the spirit notices that there is a body already in the flesh which is fornicating. The fornicating is attracting the subject of the spirit. So if the person is fornicating, the spirit of fornication looks around the world and sees somebody who is already fornicating without a spirit. And it says, if I go to dwell in this spirit, I will be free. And I will be fed all the days. Why? Because that spirit is already doing something I like. So the same way we attract the spirit of prayer. One day you wake up at night to pray, you are feeling sleepy although, but you begin to pray, you lift up a voice of prayer. Shabalaha kontene mahaya. All of a sudden, you are feeling sleepy. You try praying for 10 minutes, then you sleep. The next day you time yourself that today I am praying for 30 minutes. Yes, you try your best to pray for 30 minutes. Then the spirit of prayer is walking around and it sees that there is that spiritual force of attraction. It is already attracted by what you are doing. So it says there is a body on the earth. It is practicing my subject. It is practicing what I possess already. Then the spirit of prayer says, if I go and rest on this one, if this body hosts me, I am not going to stay in hunger. Because spirits also do hunger. If the spirit of prayer rests on you today, you have no attitude of prayer, the spirit will hunger until it leaves. Are you getting blessed? Spirits do hunger, and the only food spirits feed on is when you practice their subject. What do I mean by when you practice their subject? If it is the spirit of fornication, the more you fornicate, the more it is fed. If it is the spirit of prayer, the more you pray, the more it is fed. So a spirit is fed when you practice its subject. So the spirit looks around and sees a body and says, if I am to rest on this body, I will never starve, because it is going to feed me with what I already have. So one day you rise up at night as your usual prayer timetable. You want to pray for 30 minutes. You lift a voice of prayer. All of a sudden you realize you have entered into another realm. Then you lift a voice of prayer. Rakonte nemaha iko saze kapranta. The idea was that you were praying for 30 minutes. By 11:30 I should be done with prayer and rest for work. Until one night you rise up to pray. The usual time is 30 minutes. By the time you realize you have already prayed for 2 hours and it is 1 a.m. already, kabarosata, then you can testify that the spirit of prayer has rested on you. You fornicate willingly. Your boyfriend is giving you all ideas and trying to eat into your mind to fornicate. You understand him for once, you go and fornicate. The next day you liked it, you go and fornicate again. All of a sudden, he has not requested for it, but you feel like fornicating, you feel like having sex again. This time round, I can confidently tell you that you are moved by the spirit of fornication. Anytime you realize that you are doing something that you first did willingly, continuously, without you having a control over it, just realize that you are being controlled by a spirit. All of a sudden you are walking by the roadside. That is not your usual way of walking, but this time round, all of a sudden you are walking on the roadside. You are going to the provision store to buy something, but you realize even on the road you are praying Shabalaha Likonde Lemaha. Then you realize that there is a spiritual spirit, there is a spirit that has rested on you. It is giving you that spiritual force to pray even when you are not aware. You see somebody who can pray 16 hours out of the 24 hours we have in a day. You know that person is not normal. He is doing that unwillingly. Unwillingly. The spirit always presses him to do what it is already possessing. So the spirit of fornication will always pressure you to go and fornicate. The spirit of prayer, any spirit that rests on you, once the spirit has rested on you, let me tell you, your will has been taken out of your hands, because you are no more controlled by your flesh. You are controlled by the spirit. And the spirit always have an upper hand over the flesh. So this is how we attract spirits. When you begin to practice the subject of a spirit, you are already calling upon the spirit. You are already giving the spirit reasons to come and rest on you. It is a spirit of fornication. You are already fornicating. He says, this spirit, this body is calling upon me. He is giving me reasons to go and rest on him. Because if I go and rest on him, he is never going to leave me hungry. I have already told you what spirit feeds on. So how then do we overcome these spirits after we have attracted them? Just a matter of starving the spirit. It is determined by the volume of which you have been in a business with this spirit. There is a volume, Jesus made mention about it, that this kind does not go except by fasting and prayers. There are certain volumes you have been in transaction with this spirit for long. The certain relationship and a certain atmosphere you have created with this spirit will not permit you to just overcome it simple. You need to overcome it by prayers and fasting. But let me teach you also the simplest way to overcome spirit. Now I have already told you that spirits do feed on their subject. So if a spirit realize that you are not practicing what it contains, it is already forcing you to fornicate, but you find a way to resist it. All of a sudden you have this idea to fornicate. All of a sudden you have this idea to masturbate. Then you say no. You turn on into the internet, you find a very powerful sermon, you are listening to it. All of a sudden you are attracted and you are already in the spirit. You have no room. The taste and the desire to fornicate is off now. You keep practicing this for weeks, I tell you, the spirit is already starving. It will just leave you and find another host who will feed him well. This is how we overcome and attract spirit. I pray for you in the mighty name of Jesus, that may any bad spirit that you have contracted, may any evil spirit that you have attracted lose its hold by reason of my prayer. Are you getting blessed today? Are you getting blessed today?